Week 1. Understand what you're dealing with. So, for the first few days, I don't want you to stop the habit. Instead, I want you to become a detective. Observe yourself. When does the urge hit? Is it when you're bored, stressed, lonely, or maybe even when you're celebrating? What's the trigger? Write it all down. This isn't about judging. It's about collecting data. You need to understand the why behind the what. What need is this habit fulfilling? Is it a need for comfort, escape, connection, or stimulation? Once you identify the underlying need, you've found the root of the problem. This initial honesty is the bedrock of your success. Be brutally honest with yourself, but also be compassionate. You're not a bad person for having this habit. You're a human who found a coping mechanism that no longer serves you. Alright, welcome to week 1. You've done the hard work of self-observation. Now it's time for preparation and commitment. Your mission for this week is to create your fortress. First, tell someone you trust. This is huge. Hiding your struggle gives it power. Sharing it with a supportive friend, family member, or a professional counselor cuts its power in half. This person isn't there to police you, but to be your cheerleader, your confidant. Next, it's time to change your environment. If your trigger is seeing junk food in the pantry, get it out of the house. If it's your phone first thing in the morning, move your charger to another room. Make your desired behavior the easy option and your unwanted habit the difficult one. Create friction. And finally, set a clear, powerful why. Why are you doing this? Is it for your health, your relationships, your career, your peace of mind? Write it down on a sticky note and put it where you'll see it every day on your mirror, your desk, your car dashboard. This why will be your anchor when the storms of temptation hit. This week isn't about quitting just yet. It's about building the support systems that will make quitting possible. Now we're moving into week 2, and this is where the action really begins. This is the week of substitution. You can't just create a vacuum where your old habit used to be. You have to fill it with something positive. Remember that list of needs you identified? Now we're going to find healthy ways to meet them. If you reached for your phone out of boredom, what's a new, engaging activity you can do instead? Maybe it's a 5-minute walk, reading a chapter of a book, or learning a few chords on a guitar. If you used food for comfort, how about trying a guided meditation, calling a friend, or taking a warm bath? Create a menu of positive replacement behaviors. Write them down. When an urge strikes, instead of fighting it head-on, which can be exhausting, pivot to one of your new activities. The goal here isn't perfection. You might slip up, and that's okay. The key is to practice the pivot. Every time you choose a new behavior over the old one, you are literally rewiring your brain. You're building a new neural pathway. It's like forging a new trail in a forest. At first, it's tough going, but the more you walk it, the clearer and easier it becomes. Celebrate every small victory this week, no matter how tiny. We've reached week 3, the halfway point, and this is the consolidation phase. You've been practicing your replacement behaviors, and now it's time to double down and handle the tough moments. This week is all about mastering your mindset and managing cravings. Cravings are like ocean waves. They build, they peak, and then they crash and recede. They don't last forever, even though it feels like they will in the moment. When a craving hits, don't panic. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, here is a craving. I feel it in my body. It's uncomfortable, but it's just a sensation, and it will pass. Try a technique called urge surfing. Visualize yourself on a surfboard, riding the wave of the craving up to its peak, and then smoothly down the other side. Don't fight the wave. Just ride it out. This week is also a great time to introduce mindfulness and deep breathing exercises into your daily routine. Just 5 minutes a day can dramatically improve your ability to stay present and not get swept away by impulsive urges. Your brain will try to trick you, whispering old excuses. Just one more time won't hurt. You've been so good. You deserve a break. Recognize these thoughts for what they are. The last gasps of an old habit. Stay connected to your why and keep leaning on your support system. Welcome to week 4, the final stretch. This is the week of lifestyle integration and future-proofing. You've come so far, and now it's about making this new way of living your new normal. This week, focus on the bigger picture. How does being free from this addiction change your life? What new possibilities are open to you? Start planning for them. Maybe you have more energy now. How will you use it? Maybe you have more mental clarity. What project will you tackle? This is about shifting your identity. You are no longer someone trying to quit. You are now someone who lives a healthy life, someone who is in control, someone who doesn't do that anymore. Reinforce this new identity. Talk about yourself in these new terms. Also, it's crucial to have a plan for high-risk situations. What will you do at the next party, the next stressful day at work, or the next time you feel lonely? Rehearse your plan. Maybe it's having a non-alcoholic drink ready, having a friend on speed dial, or having a pre-planned escape route. Don't get complacent. The old pathways in your brain are still there, and they can be reactivated if you're not careful, especially in the first few months. Stay vigilant, but also be proud of the incredible transformation you've achieved. We've covered the 4-week plan, but the journey doesn't end here. The 1-month mark is a monumental milestone, but true, lasting change is a continuous process. Think of it like maintaining a garden. You've pulled out the biggest weeds, but you need to keep tending to the soil to prevent new ones from growing. Keep practicing your healthy habits. Keep checking in with yourself, and most importantly, practice self-compassion. If you have a setback, and many people do, it is not a failure. It is a data point. What can you learn from it? What trigger did you miss? What part of your support system needs strengthening? A lapse does not have to become a relapse. Don't let one slip-up convince you to throw away all your progress. Just get back on your path the very next moment. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. This journey has taught you so much about your own strength and resilience. Remember, what you've started is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. You are actively choosing a better future. You are rewriting your story. The person who started this video 1 month ago is not the same person you are today. Take a moment to acknowledge that. Celebrate how far you've come. You are capable, you are strong, and you are worth the effort. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If this video helped you, please consider sharing it with someone who might need it. Keep growing, keep thriving, and I'll see you in the next one.